Name Confused by Enchanted Nightingale. Chapter 80. Competition. Part 1. He exited the elevator deeply engrossed in his emails. He loosely held his umbrella in hand as he navigated the hallways with an ease that came from familiarity. However, it came to his attention that something was different this morning. He passed by Miss Cowell, and Mr. Patterson looked rather amused at something. Mycroft raised an eyebrow. He then realized that there was an unusual amount of muttering in the hallways. He stopped in front of them, and they both sat up just a bit straighter. All that was missing was the military salute. He gave them both an overall look and tried to ignore what signs he read about their personal lives. It was rather obvious to him from the ways Cowell looked that she was not sleeping well lately, and it was work-related either. He knew that she lived in a part of town that students usually frequented. That meant louder neighbors. He knew it was due to them that she was not sleeping well for at least the past week, and a look at Mr. Patterson showed him that the man's home life was not going well. His clothes were pristine in a way that showed his wife had not ironed his shirt, but a professional dry cleaner. His ring was missing, and he looked frazzled. He was not the kind to have affairs, so that left the man's wife had cheated on him. Mycroft sighed. He really hated being so perceptive. "Something happened today, unrelated to work," he stated, not even bothering with cordial greetings. Miss Cowell cleared her throat. "Mr. Augustus and Miss May are having a competition of sorts."
"No one knows how it started," Mr. Patterson added, "but we do know that they settled on a competition on who will find the most unusual and unique names for each other, that is."
"A name competition," Mycroft repeated, the absurdity of it somehow not shocking him as much as it should. He had grown up with Sherlock, and the Holmes siblings had even more ridiculous competitions between them. He fought the urge to bring a hand up to rub his forehead. "I see," was all he said on that subject. "Just get back to work," he told them. He started toward his office before pausing. "Oh, and Mr. Patterson, do get a good lawyer for your divorce. It's gone on long enough. Miss Cowell, if your neighbors keep giving you trouble, either call the police, take sleeping pills, or move. I suggest the third option." He finished and walked ahead. Before closing his door, he caught Patterson's
"I hate when he does that,"
and smirked inwardly. Deduction was one game he had perfected since he was a child. He did not often do this as blatantly as Sherlock, but it was in his repertoire, and it kept his people on their toes. At first, Mycroft thought nothing of the little game his two assistants were engaged in. For him it was easy to keep track of the ever-changing names, and the personas that sometimes followed them. Hermes and Hestia. Not all that uncommon, really. The Roman pantheon theme was a nice touch. Mycroft was glad they had not worn togas to come to the office. He would not put it past the green-eyed man to do something like this. Clover and Hyacinth were rather unusual, flowery names. There were plenty of jokes about the 1970s and hippies. A couple came from Mycroft himself. Again, no matching outfits, even though he caught Miss Cowell making a suggestion to Clover. Bruno and Brigitte were fine German names, merely gathering a mention. It was also the start of another competition between his assistants. Mycroft learned then that their German was quite basic, and made a note to fix that, for the wizard at least. Jose Armando and Lupita were Spanish names, and they struck a chord in some of his employees. That day, Mycroft heard plenty of references to South American soap operas that he was a bit alarmed at the tastes of his staff. Lupita knew some Brazilian Portuguese, while Jose Armando understood enough to answer her in Spanish. Fionuela and Trien were a bit of a mouthful. This time, both his assistants made use of Irish to talk. The wizard's accent was better, but Fionuela's vocabulary was more extensive. Both of them were quite vexed when Mycroft actually answered them in Ursi. Empatia and Diocletianus. They had raised quite a few eyebrows. The fact that Diocletianus actually spoke Latin to some people, usually to insult their intelligence, when they were being idiots. Well, Mycroft could not help the chuckle that escaped him, and Empatia was beginning to get annoyed at how many languages Mycroft could speak.